So the last thing we're going to talk about today is the logistics and administrative side of it. And we're just going to kind of walk you through what our expectations are and what's there. In the past, the thesis course hasn't had any structure at all. Just a submission of a topic form in September and a final thesis document in April. This had presented a lot of issues around, student experience, whether students were able to keep themselves on track the whole time. And now there's a lot more structure to the course, and we're going to walk you through what those elements of structure are. So in early September, for all years, for all types of thesis, first term, year, and second term, you're going to be responsible for submitting a thesis topic form and a safety survey. The thesis topic form just identifies who your supervisor is going to be, describes your proposed topic, and just basically allows us to register your project as a potential thesis that's going to go forward. This form is already available in the thesis section of the undergraduate and Sci Blackboard page. And it's something that's reviewed and approved by engineering science for eligibility. So remember the engineering science and the engineering design requirement. So we're going to look at those projects to see if they fit within those parameters, and let us know if you have concerns about this in advance. And if you don't hear from us, your project will be fine, right? If there's a problem, you'll hear from the division, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about your project. If you are going to change from a full year to a second term or a fall term to a year-long thesis, there are forms for this that are available at the engineering science office, and keep in mind that you have to go through the proper channels to do that. So the first major deliverable takes place in either October or early January, and that's the thesis proposal. It's a brief one-page document that's described in this assignment statement with a very clear rubric as well. And it's basically outlining the research problem that you're engaging in, or the design problem that you're engaging in, your methodology, what you hope to accomplish, that sort of thing. It's modeled after the NSERC grant application, so it's hopefully going to teach you how to write grant applications as well. You're going to have to be responsible for an interim report. When it's due depends on what type of thesis you're doing. But again, there's a description of it on the website. There's a rubric for it, and also a guide to what those categories mean. So there's a lot of information already about what's expected of you in all of these documents. It will also be an oral presentation near the end of term, late November or late March and early April. And this is a short 10-minute presentation on your topic and on your research and on your findings that we hold in groups of 6 or so, and they're open to other students. So one really good thing you might want to do is when you see the schedule of these oral presentations come out for this year, you might want to look at the fields that you're interested in and try to attend some of those sessions so you can see the type of work that thesis students actually wind up doing. And finally, it's on the last day of classes, the final thesis is due. There's a bunch of documentation about the formatting and the requirements, and also a rubric and guide that's there as well. So to support the course, right now what you have access to is this engineering science undergraduate site with a thesis section with a bunch of things on there. Next year there will be a Blackboard page for the thesis itself. And there will be a whole bunch of supporting pieces for each of these deliverables. So there'll be a bunch of videos on proposal writing, a bunch of videos on the literature review as part of the interim report, and as well as things on the oral presentation and writing conclusions and writing results and things like that as well. So all of the support there is happening through online videos, but we will be having in-person workshops during the course of the year that you can attend to work on your specific document. We've just found that it's much better to do it that way than to actually sit and give lectures. Students can come in to a workshop having looked at those videos before, having their own document in hand, and we can help you out with your own specific material rather than talking generally. So it's a much more productive way to develop some support structures for thesis students as well. So as kind of a last word on these things, here's a couple of things that students have said about thesis, right? It's something that's going to serve as the foundation for your future research opportunities, right? If you work with the same professor, but even if you work with different professors, you can refer back to your experience here. You can refer back, hopefully, to a very strong recommendation letter that you can use to get into graduate school or get into or find your way into a specific job or area there. So the thesis is going to be an important foundation for your future research work. And knowing that, it's something that you should take pretty seriously. It's something that will play pretty prominently in any of your graduate school applications and even in your cover letters for certain jobs that you're applying for. Okay. So it's certainly a place where you can help yourself if you do a really good job. Finally, a lot of you are going into your PUI this year. Some of you are going straight from third year into fourth year. There's places that you can go to get some help or advice about thesis as you start planning or thinking this through. You're not on your own. You can come to me, Alan Chong. I'm an associate professor teaching with the engineering communication program, and I usually run the communication support for thesis. And you can go see Lisa Romke as well, who you probably already know as somebody who's in engineering science. And she's able to help you with thesis counseling or thesis advice as well. Both of us are here for you if you need it, and if you have any questions about thesis, feel free to ask us.